Thunder splits the midnight sky above downtown Manhattan, a jagged scar of light that bleeds into the rain-slicked glass of Le Ciel, the rooftop bistro where one dinner costs more than most make in a week. The camera dives through the storm, past the golden glow of chandeliers, past the clink of baccarat crystal and the murmur of hedge fund secrets. It stops on Ilea Jones, 22. Dark skin, luminous under amber light. Apron crisp, but the hem of her jeans beneath is frayed from too many subway grates. She moves like water, fluid, necessary, unseen. A bead of sweat traces the curve of her neck as she balances 3 plates on one arm. Her smile is a practiced weapon, sharp enough to deflect but soft enough to earn tips. A white couple at table 7 snaps fingers. "Miss, this salmon is dry?" She nods, already tasting the lie. "I'll have the chef fire another, sir." The man doesn't look up from his phone. The woman doesn't look up at all. Alea's jaw tightens, just a flicker, then smooths. She's done this dance since 16. A phantom gray Maybach ghosts to the curb. The door opens. Richard Hargrove steps out. 58. Silver hair slicked by rain. Cashmere coat worth a mortgage. He moves with the careful gait of a man who owns the ground but has forgotten how to walk on it. The umbrella bearer hovers, but Richard waves him off. His eyes storm gray, hollowed by 2 decades of sleepless 3A. M's sweep the room through the glass. Lightning forks. Alea turns with a water pitcher. The angle is perfect. Her profile in silhouette against the city lights. High cheekbones, full mouth. The exact tilt of chin Richard sees every night in a grainy ultrasound print folded in his breast pocket. Richard's cane slips on wet marble. The valet lunges. Richard doesn't notice. He's staring at a ghost wearing an apron. 22 years ago, St. Augustine's Hospital handed him a death certificate and an empty bassinet. Tonight, the lie walks on 2 legs and asks if he'd like still or sparkling. Alea feels the stare. Her shoulders stiffen. She's used to being watched, but not like this. Not like someone seeing through her skin to the bones beneath. Richard's hand trembles on the ultrasound photo in his pocket. The paper is soft as cloth from nightly handling. Hospital corridor, 2003, fluorescent lights, a doctor in scrubs, white, male, clipboard like a shield. "Mr. Hargrove, I'm sorry. Complications. The infant didn't make it. No body, no questions allowed. Back to present." Alea pours water for table 3. Her wrist turns, reveals a faint crescent scar from a foster home fall at age 7. Richard's breath catches. His wife had the same mark on her wrist from a childhood accident. The manager hisses from the service station. "Hargrove's table is yours, Jones. Don't screw this up." Translation, "Don't let the black girl ruin our 5-star rating." Alea's tip jar, 3 singles, 1 subway token. Richard's wallet, a platinum Amex and a hospital bracelet labeled "Baby Girl Hargrove, Deceased." Richard crosses the threshold. Rainwater drips from his coat onto Italian marble. Alea approaches with menus. Their eyes lock across 8 feet of candlelight and privilege. She offers a professional smile. "Good evening, sir. Table for 1?" He can't speak. The room narrows to her face. She spills a drop of water from the pitcher. It lands on his shoe like a tear. His hand shoots out, catches the glass before it tips fully. Their fingers brush. Electric. "You," he whispers, voice cracking like the thunder outside. "You look exactly like my daughter." The restaurant hushes. Forks pause mid-air. Alea pulls back, heart pounding. "Sir, I think you have the wrong person." But her voice wavers, because in that split second, something ancient stirs in her chest, a memory she's never had. Richard's eyes fill with tears he hasn't shed in 20 years. "No," he says, barely audible. "I have the right one." Finally, he came for a quiet dinner. But what he saw would shatter 2 decades of grief and expose a truth buried deeper than any grave. What they didn't know would change everything. Aaliyah Jones wakes up at 5 every morning in a one-room apartment in the Bronx that smells like old curry from the neighbors and the faint bleach she uses to fight the mold. The alarm on her cracked phone buzzes. She slaps it silent, swings her legs over the edge of the narrow bed, and plants her feet on the cold linoleum. No time for dreams. Rent is due in 6 days, and her bank account shows $47.32. She pulls on yesterday's jeans, the ones with the hole in the knee she hides under the diner apron, and heads out. The hallway light flickers like it's on its last breath. Mrs. Rodriguez from 2B is already arguing with her son through the door. Aaliyah slips past, head down, hoodie up. The elevator's been broken for 3 months. She takes the stairs 2 at a time. The 4 train rattles her downtown to Murphy's Diner, a greasy spoon wedged between a bodega and a check-cashing place. The cook, Luis, nods when she walks in. "Morning, mija." She ties on the apron that says Murphy's, where the coffee's strong and the tips are weak. The first customer is a cop who always leaves exact change and never says thank you. She refills his coffee without being asked. Muscle memory. By 8, her feet ache. By 10, her smile hurts. She counts tips in the bathroom stall. $11 in singles, a Canadian quarter, and a religious tract that promises salvation if she just believes hard enough. She pockets the money, tosses the tract. Belief never paid the light bill. Afternoon shift at Le Ciel doesn't start until 4, so she catches the subway to Bronx Community College. Sociology 201. The classroom smells like dry erase markers and desperation. Professor Grant, a tired white woman with kind eyes, hands back papers. Aaliyah's essay on systemic bias in foster care gets a B+. Comment, strong voice, needs more citations. She stares at the grade until the letters blur. Strong voice. That's what they always say when they don't know what else to do with her anger. She eats a peanut butter sandwich on the library steps, scrolling job listings on her phone, another shift at Le Ciel tonight. Double if she's lucky. The manager, Victor, texts, "Hargrove coming again. Your section. Don't mess up." She types back a thumbs-up emoji she doesn't feel. Across the bridge, in a penthouse that takes up the entire top floor of a building with its own zip code, Richard Hargrove stands at a window the size of a billboard. The city sprawls below him like a circuit board he designed, but never learned to love. His reflection stares back. Silver hair, hollow cheeks, eyes that haven't sparkled since 2003. The apartment is silent except for the hum of the climate control. No photos on the walls, just one framed ultrasound on the mantel, the only image he has of the daughter he never held. The hospital said she died minutes after birth. Complications. His wife, Elena, bled out on the table. They let him see her body, pale and still, but not the baby. "Best this way," the doctor had said. "Spare you the pain." Richard had nodded, numb, and signed whatever they put in front of him. He built an empire after that. AI that predicts stock trends. Algorithms that run half the trading floors on Wall Street. A net worth that makes Forbes lists. But every year on September 12th, Elena's birthday, and the day their daughter was supposed to be born, he visits a tiny grave in Westchester with no body beneath it. He leaves white roses and whispers apologies to the wind. Tonight he dresses for Le Ciel because his assistant insisted. "You need to eat somewhere that isn't your office, sir." He chooses a navy suit, no tie. The ultrasound print goes into his breast pocket like always. A talisman. A curse. Back in the Bronx, Aaliyah changes in the restaurant's cramped locker room. The uniform is too big. She cinches the waist with safety pins. Her reflection in the cracked mirror shows tired eyes and a mouth that's learned to smile on command. She tucks a stray braid behind her ear and heads to the floor. Victor pulls her aside. "Hargrove asked for you specifically. Don't know why, don't care. Just keep him happy." His breath smells like garlic and fear. She nods. keeps her face neutral. The first time Richard saw her, 3 nights ago, he'd nearly dropped his glass. The resemblance was a punch to the sternum. He came back the next night, and the next. Ordered the same steak, medium rare, barely touched it. Just watched her move between tables like she belonged in a different story. Tonight the restaurant is packed. Wall Street types in tailored suits, socialites dripping diamonds, a senator in the corner booth laughing too loud. Aaliyah weaves through them with practiced grace, but she feels his eyes on her again. Like a spotlight she can't escape. She approaches his table. "Good evening, Mr. Hargrove. Still or sparkling?" Her voice is steady, professional. Inside, her stomach knots. He looks up, and for a moment the noise of the room fades. "Sparkling," he says. His hand trembles as he takes the menu. She notices, files it away. As she walks to the service station, Victor hisses, "He's been asking about you. Background, where you're from. Told him to mind his business, but..." He shrugs. Rich people get what they want. Aaliyah's shift stretches. She clears plates, refills wine, smiles until her cheeks ache. At one point, a drunk financier grabs her wrist. "You look familiar, sweetheart. Model?" She twists free with a laugh that doesn't reach her eyes. "Just a waitress, sir." Richard watches from his table, knuckles white around his fork. Near closing, the dining room empties. Aaliyah wipes down tables, counts her tips. $83. Better than average. She's untying her apron when Richard appears at the staff door. Security lets him through. Money talks. "Miss Jones," he says. His voice is softer than she expected. "May I speak with you?" Privately, Victor materializes like a shark. "Everything okay here?" Richard doesn't look at him. 5 minutes. Victor hesitates, then nods. Disappears. They stand in the dim hallway near the walk-in fridge. The air smells like lemon cleaner and leftover truffle oil. Aaliyah crosses her arms. "What is this about, Mr. Hargrove?" He reaches into his pocket, pulls out the ultrasound print, holds it out with shaking fingers. "This was my daughter. She was born September 12th, 2003. The hospital said she didn't survive. But you," his voice cracks. "Look at the eyes, the mouth. It's impossible, but..." Aaliyah takes the photo. The image is grainy, but the features are unmistakable. A tiny face that could be hers at 1 day old. Her throat closes. "I was born September 12th, 2003, she whispers. Or that's what the records say. I don't have parents. Just foster homes." Richard's knees buckle. He leans against the wall. "St. Augustine's Hospital?" She nods slowly. "That's where they said I came from. Foundling, no mother listed." The hallway spins. 22 years of questions crash into 22 years of grief. Richard pulls out his phone with trembling hands. "I need to see your birth records, please. I'll pay for anything, tests, whatever it takes." Aaliyah steps back. "You think I'm your kid because of a blurry picture? Sir, I've had men promise the moon for less. I'm not for sale." Her voice is steel, but her eyes are wet. "No," he says quickly. "Not like that. I need to know. For both of us." She studies his face, sees the pain there, raw and real. Not the polished billionaire from the magazines. Just a man drowning in what-ifs. She softens, just a fraction. "I get off at 11 tomorrow. There's a coffee shop on Fordham Road. If you want to talk, meet me there. But bring proof, not feelings." He nods, tears slipping down his cheeks. "Thank you." As he walks away, Aaliyah leans against the fridge, the ultrasound photo still in her hand. Her heart pounds like the subway beneath the city. For the first time in her life, the word father doesn't feel like a fairy tale. It feels like a door cracking open, and somewhere in the back of her mind, a memory stirs. A lullaby she's never heard, but somehow knows the tune to. A woman's voice, soft and fading. A garden she's never seen, but can smell the roses. The setup is complete. 2 worlds on a collision course. One built on survival, one built on regret. And the truth, buried for 22 years, is about to rise like steam from the city streets. The coffee shop on Fordham Road smells like burnt sugar and yesterday's bacon. It's 11:15, and the morning rush has thinned to a few students hunched over laptops and an old man reading the Post upside down. Aaliyah sits in the corner booth, the one with the cracked vinyl seat she always claims because it faces the door. She's early, always early. Control what you can. She wears her diner uniform under a hoodie, apron folded in her bag. The ultrasound print Richard gave her last night is tucked inside a library book on her lap, The Color of Law. Ironic, she thinks. She traces the grainy image with her thumb. The baby's eyes are closed, but the mouth, her mouth, curves like it's already practicing a smile. The bell above the door jingles. Richard steps in, raincoat dripping, no driver this time. He scans the room until he finds her. His face is pale, eyes red-rimmed. He hasn't slept. She can tell. She knows the look. He slides into the booth opposite her. Places a manila folder on the table like it's made of glass. "Thank you for coming," he says. His voice is hoarse. Aaliyah doesn't smile. "You said proof. Let's see it." He opens the folder. First, a birth announcement from St. Augustine's Hospital, September 12, 2003. Elena Maria Hargrove and daughter. The daughter's name is blank. Next, a death certificate issued the same day. Infant girl Hargrove. Cause, hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. Time of death, 2:47 a.m., signed by Dr. Martin Whitmore. Aaliyah's stomach twists. She's seen her own intake papers 100 times. Foundling. No identifying information, but the date matches. The hospital matches. "There's more," Richard says. He slides over a second document. Her foster care intake form. Jane Doe, approximately 3 days old. Found in hospital nursery, no wristband. Transferred to ACS custody. The signature at the bottom. Nurse Evelyn Carter. "I don't understand," Aaliyah says. Her voice is steady, but her hands aren't. "If your baby died, how did I end up in the system from the same hospital?" Richard's jaw tightens. "That's what I've been asking myself since last night. I called the hospital. They stonewalled me. Said records from 2003 are archived, need a court order. But I have friends. Old friends." He pulls out his phone, opens an email. "This came an hour ago. From a retired nurse, Evelyn Carter. The one who signed your intake." Aaliyah reads the email aloud. "Mr. Hargrove, I've carried this for 22 years. Your daughter didn't die. Dr. Whitmore lied. The baby was healthy. He said it was a mix-up, a paperwork error, but I saw him take her from the warmer. I asked questions. He threatened my license. I was 25, scared. I'm sorry." The words hit like punches. Aaliyah's vision blurs. She blinks hard. Why would a doctor lie about a dead baby? Richard's face darkens. "Because Elena wasn't just my wife. She was black, Creole, from New Orleans. Her family disowned her when we married. The hospital board, Whitmore's friends, didn't approve. Elena hemorrhaged. They let her bleed while they consulted. By the time they acted, it was too late for her. But the baby, you, were fine." Aaliyah's breath catches. "You're saying they killed my mother and stole me because she was black?" "I'm saying they covered their mistake. A dead white billionaire's wife is a scandal. A live black baby in the wrong bassinet? That's a lawsuit. Easier to say the infant died with the mother. Dispose of the evidence." The coffee shop noise fades. Aaliyah feels the walls closing in. "Dispose of the evidence," she repeats. "That's what I was, garbage." "No," Richard says fiercely. "You were my daughter, and they took you from me." He reaches into the folder again, pulls out a small plastic bag. Inside, a tiny hospital bracelet. Baby girl Hargrove. The ink is faded, but the name is clear. "They gave me this. Said it was all that was left." I believed them. Aaliyah stares at the bracelet. Her throat burns. "I need air." She stands abruptly, heads for the door. Richard follows. Outside, the rain has stopped, but the air is thick with city steam. She leans against the brick wall, hands on her knees. "I grew up thinking my mother abandoned me," she says. "Foster homes, group homes. One family kept me 6 months, then sent me back because I didn't fit. Another locked me in a closet for talking back. I was 7. Richard's face crumples. "I would have found you. If I'd known, you didn't know because they lied. And I paid for it." Her voice cracks. "Every time a teacher assumed I was trouble. Every time a social worker looked at me like I was a case number. That was their lie living in my skin." Richard takes a step closer. "Let me help." "DNA test. Today." I'll pay for everything. Lawyers, whatever you need. Aaliyah laughs, bitter. Money fixes everything, right? Just buy the truth. No, he says, but it buys time. And access. Let me get you answers. She studies his face, sees the desperation, the guilt, but also something else. Recognition, like looking in a mirror and seeing the pain reflected back. Fine, she says, but on my terms. No lawyers yet, no media. I want to talk to this nurse, Evelyn Carter. Alone. Richard nods. She's in Queens. I'll drive. They take the subway instead. Aaliyah insists. Richard doesn't argue. He stands the whole ride holding the overhead bar while she sits, arms crossed. People stare. Billionaire on the 4 train. She almost smiles. Evelyn Carter lives in a small brick house with plastic flowers in the window. She's 60 now, hair gray, hands spotted with age. She opens the door cautiously, then gasps when she sees Aaliyah. "Oh, Lord," she whispers. "It's you." Inside, the living room smells like Bengay and vanilla candles. Evelyn sits them down, hands shaking as she pours tea no one drinks. "I knew this day would come," she says. "I kept copies. In a safe deposit box. Figured one day someone would ask." She pulls out a yellowed envelope. Inside, a Polaroid. A newborn wrapped in a pink blanket, eyes open, staring at the camera. On the back, in faded ink, Hargrove baby, 9 to 12/03, healthy. Aaliyah's hands tremble as she holds it. "That's me," Evelyn nods. "Dr. Whitmore came to the nursery that night. Said there'd been a mistake. The Hargrove baby was supposed to be stillborn, but you were breathing, crying. He took you off the warmer, wrapped you in a new blanket. Told me to log you as a foundling. Said if I spoke up, I'd lose my job. My pension, everything." Richard's voice is steel. "Where did he take her?" "Adoption agency, private, for special cases. Run by a woman named Gloria Stein. She paid cash for healthy infants. No questions." Aaliyah's world tilts. "You sold me?" "No." Evelyn's eyes fill. "I was scared. But I kept the photo, the real bracelet. I tried to find you once. Called ACS. They said you'd been placed. Happy family. I believed them." Richard stands. "Gloria Stein, where is she now?" "Dead. 10 years ago. Cancer. But Whitmore, he's still practicing. Head of obstetrics at St. Augustine's. Sits on the board." Aaliyah's phone buzzes. Unknown number. She ignores it. Then it buzzes again. A text. "Stop digging. Some graves stay closed for a reason." She shows Richard. His face goes white. "We're being watched." Evelyn pales. There's more. Whitmore wasn't alone. The hospital administrator, Charles Lang, he signed off on the falsified records. "They did this before. Not just you, other babies. Poor mothers. Black mothers, immigrants, anyone who wouldn't fight back." Aaliyah stands. "I want to see him. Whitmore. Today." Richard hesitates. "He's dangerous. So am I," she says. And for the first time, she believes it. They leave Evelyn's house as the sun sets. Richard's driver is waiting this time. Aaliyah doesn't protest. They head to St. Augustine's, the place where her life began and was stolen in the same breath. The hospital lobby gleams, marble floors, donor wall with Richard's name in gold. He donated the new NICU wing after Elena died. Irony tastes like copper. They take the elevator to the 5th floor. Obstetrics. Whitmore's office is at the end of the hall. Door closed. Richard knocks, no answer. He tries the handle. Locked. A nurse passes. Recognizes Richard. "Mr. Hargrove, Dr. Whitmore's in surgery. Emergency C-section. Won't be out for hours." Aaliyah's eyes narrow. "We'll wait." They sit in the waiting area. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. A new mother rocks a swaddled infant nearby, humming. Aaliyah watches, chest tight. That could have been her. Should have been. Her phone buzzes again. Another text. "Leave now, or the nurse talks to no one." Richard sees it. "They're threatening Evelyn." Aaliyah dials 911, reports a welfare check, then dials Evelyn. No answer. They race back to Queens. Traffic is a nightmare. Richard's driver weaves through horns and red lights. Aaliyah's heart pounds. She calls again. Voicemail. They pull up to Evelyn's house. The front door is ajar. "Lights off!" Richard tells the driver to wait. They go in. "Evelyn?" Aaliyah calls. The living room is trashed. Couch overturned. Teacups shattered. Evelyn lies on the floor unconscious, a gash on her forehead. Aaliyah drops to her knees. Call an ambulance! Richard dials. Aaliyah checks her pulse. Steady. She's breathing. Evelyn's eyes flutter open. They came. 2 men. Asked about the baby? I wouldn't. She fades out. Paramedics arrive. Police follow. Aaliyah gives a statement. Richard stands back, face grim. The officers know who he is. Defer to him. Ask Aaliyah fewer questions. In the ambulance, Evelyn stabilizes. Whispers to Aaliyah, safe deposit box. First National. Key in the cookie jar, shaped like a cat. Aaliyah finds the key, small, brass. She pockets it. Back at the hospital, this time as a visitor, not a ghost, Aaliyah sits by Evelyn's bed. Richard paces. The police report will say, break-in, no suspects. But they know better. Evelyn wakes fully near midnight. Get the box, she rasps. Everything's there. Records, names, payments, enough to bury Whitmore. Aaliyah squeezes her hand. We will. But as they leave the room, a security guard stops them. Mr. Hargrove, Dr. Whitmore would like to see you, privately. Richard and Aaliyah exchange a look. This is it. The confrontation. They follow the guard to a conference room on the top floor. Whitmore waits inside. 70 now, hair white but still commanding. He closes the door. Richard, he says smoothly, it's been too long, and this must be... The waitress? Aaliyah steps forward. I'm the baby you buried alive. Whitmore doesn't flinch. I don't know what you're talking about. Richard slams the Polaroid on the table. Then explain this. Whitmore glances at it, smiles. Old photo. Could be anyone. Aaliyah pulls out her phone. Plays a recording. Evelyn's confession, captured on her voicemail earlier. Whitmore's face tightens. You're making a mistake, he says. Some things are better left in the past. Like murder? Aaliyah asks. Like stealing children? Whitmore leans in. Your mother died because she refused a C-section. Her choice. The baby was collateral. We did what was necessary, Richard lunges. Aaliyah holds him back. Not here, she says. Whitmore straightens his tie. You have no proof. And even if you did, who would believe a foster kid over a respected physician? Aaliyah smiles, cold. We'll see. They leave. In the elevator, Richard's hands shake. He's right. Without the box, we have the key, Aaliyah says. And tomorrow, we open Pandora's. But as they step into the parking garage, headlights flare. A black SUV blocks their path. 2 men in suits get out. Mr. Hargrove, one says. Dr. Whitmore suggests you reconsider. Aaliyah's heart races. Richard steps in front of her. Touch her and you'll regret it. The men advance. One reaches for Aaliyah. She knees him in the groin. Richard swings his cane, cracks the other across the knee. They scramble back to the SUV and peel out. Sirens wail in the distance. Someone called security. Aaliyah and Richard stand in the empty garage, breathing hard. The line has been crossed. There's no going back. The inciting incident is complete. The lie is exposed. The fight has begun. And Aaliyah Jones, the girl who was never supposed to exist, is about to tear down the empire that erased her. The First National Bank on Steinway Street opens at 9. Aaliyah is there at 8:45, hoodie up, coffee in hand, eyes scanning every face that passes. Richard's driver idles across the street in a nondescript Toyota, his idea of blending in. She told him to stay back. This part is hers. The safety deposit vault smells like metal and old paper. The clerk, a bored 20-something with purple nails, leads her to box 478. Aaliyah's hand doesn't shake as she inserts the cat-shaped key. The lid lifts with a soft click. Inside, a spiral notebook, yellowed with age. A stack of photocopied hospital forms. A flash drive in a plastic bag. And a single white baby booty, so small it fits in her palm. She tucks everything into her backpack and walks out without looking back. Richard waits in the car. She slides into the back seat. Drive. They head to a WeWork in Midtown. Neutral ground, public Wi-Fi, cameras everywhere. Richard rented a private office under a shell company name. Inside, Aaliyah plugs the flash drive into her laptop. The screen fills with folders labeled by year, 1998, 1999, 2000. Up to 2015, she opens 2003, a spreadsheet. Columns, Mother's name, race, insurance status, outcome, payment received, placement agency. Her finger stops on row 47. Elena Hargrove, black, private pay, deceased, infant viable. $50,000. Stein Adoption Services, $50,000. That's what her life cost. Richard reads over her shoulder. His breath catches. There are hundreds, Aaliyah scrolls. Black mothers, Latina mothers, poor white mothers from Staten Island. All marked complications. All infants redirected. Payments range from 20 grand to 100. The notebook is worse. Handwritten notes and Evelyn's neat script. Whitmore says, market demand for light-skinned babies. Darker ones go to state system. Less paperwork. Lang takes 30% cut. Calls it administrative fee. Asked about follow-up. Told to don't get attached. Aaliyah's stomach turns. She closes the laptop. We take this to the police. Richard shakes his head. Whitmore owns half the precinct captains. We need leverage first. Leverage? She laughs, sharp. I've got a lifetime of it. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. She answers on speaker. Miss Jones. Whitmore's voice, smooth as ice. You're playing with fire. Funny, she says. I was about to say the same. Return the box. Walk away. I'll wire you $1 million. Enough to disappear. Richard's eyes widen. Aaliyah leans in. I'm not the disappearing kind, doctor. Then you'll join your mother. The line goes dead. Richard calls his head of security, ex-NYPD, loyal for 20 years. I need protection for Miss Jones, and I need Whitmore's schedule. Every meeting, every lunch, every golf game. Aaliyah spends the afternoon printing documents. She makes 3 copies. One goes to a journalist at the Times, a black woman who's been investigating hospital malpractice for years. One to the state attorney general's office, slipped into the night drop. One stays with her, night falls. They hole up in Richard's penthouse, first time Aaliyah's been above the 50th floor. The view makes her dizzy. He offers the guest room. She takes the couch. Trust is a slow burn. At 2 a.m., her phone lights up. A video text. It's Evelyn's hospital room. Empty, bed stripped. A nurse in the background shrugs at a cop. She checked herself out. Against medical advice, Aaliyah's blood runs cold. She dials the hospital. Evelyn's gone. No record of discharge. Richard is already on his phone. Find her, now. Morning brings a knock at the door. Not security. A woman in her 50s, dark skin, gray braids, wearing a nurse's scrubs under a trench coat. She looks over her shoulder before stepping inside. I'm Denise, she says. I worked with Evelyn. She called me last night. Said to find you if anything happened? Where is she? Safe, for now. Underground clinic in Harlem. But Whitmore's people are looking. Denise hands over a USB drive. More records. From the last 10 years. He never stopped. Aaliyah plugs it in. Recent files. Same pattern. But now the payments are in cryptocurrency. Offshore accounts. The operation evolved. Richard's security chief calls. Whitmore's at the Metropolitan Club. Lunch with the hospital board. 12:30. Aaliyah stands. We crash it. Richard hesitates. They'll have you arrested. Let them try. They arrive at the club in a hired Prius. Richard's idea of stealth. The doorman knows his face. Lets them in. The dining room is old money. Wood paneling, oil portraits, white tablecloths. Whitmore sits at a round table with 6 suits. He sees them and freezes mid-sentence. Aaliyah walks straight to the table. Pulls out the spiral notebook. Drops it in the center. Gentlemen, she says, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. Meet the ghost of St. Augustine's. Whitmore stands. Security! But Richard's already live streaming on his phone. This is Richard Hargrove. What you're about to hear is 22 years of stolen children. Aaliyah opens the notebook. Reads aloud names, dates, dollar amounts. The table goes silent. One board member, a woman with pearls, stands and walks out. Security arrives. Richard's team, 4 ex-cops in plain clothes, block the door. This is a private matter, one says. 5 minutes. Whitmore's face is purple. You have no idea what you're destroying. I know exactly, Aaliyah says. My mother, my childhood. Hundreds of others. She pulls out her phone. Plays Evelyn's recorded confession from the hospital. The room hears every word. A board member whispers, Jesus Christ! Whitmore lunges for the phone. Richard blocks him. Touch her and you're done. The club manager appears. Sir, this is unacceptable. Richard cuts him off. Call the police. All of them. Chaos erupts. Phones come out. Cameras. The live stream hits 50,000 views in minutes. Staugostein's scandal trends nationwide. Whitmore bolts for the service exit. Alia follows. Into the kitchen, steamy, chaotic, pots clanging. He shoves a cook aside. She ducks under a tray of soufflés. They burst into an alley. Whitmore's panting. You think this ends me? I've survived worse. Alia corners him against a dumpster. Not this time, sirens wail. Police cars block both ends. Whitmore's arrested on the spot. Obstruction, evidence tampering, the works. The charges will grow. Back at the penthouse, Alia watches the news. Protests outside the hospital. Parents of missing kids holding photos. The Attorney General announces a full investigation. Richard pours her tea. His hands still shake. I funded that place, he says. My money built the wing where they stole you. She takes the cup. Then use it to tear the rest down, he nods. Calls his CFO. Liquidate the Hargrove Foundation's hospital investments. All of them. Redirect to a new fund. For foster youth. Scholarships, therapy, run by Alia. She blinks. I'm not ready. You were born ready. That night she can't sleep. The city hums below. She opens the notebook again. Finds a page she missed. A list of names. Babies placed. 2003-2005. Hers is there. But below it, baby boy. 915-03. Mother, Maria Morales. Placed, Stein Services. Status, unknown. Another ghost. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. You open the box. Now the real hunt begins. She shows Richard. His face hardens. Maria Morales. I remember. Elena's roommate in maternity. Her baby vanished the same week. Alia's chest tightens. There's more of us. Denise calls at dawn. Evelyn's awake. Wants to see you. And she says bring the booty. They go to the clinic. A church basement in Harlem. Cots and curtains. Volunteers in scrubs. Evelyn is propped up, IV in her arm, but her eyes are clear. She takes the booty. Turns it over. Inside, stitched in tiny letters, for my brother. Love, E. Alia's knees buckle. I have a brother? Evelyn nods. Twin boy and girl. Elena begged them to save both. They said only one survived, but I saw him. Healthy. Whitmore took him too. Richard's voice breaks. Twins? Alia stares at the booty. Her whole life she thought she was alone. Now the emptiness has a shape. We find him, she says. No matter what, but outside tires screech. Black SUVs. Men in suits. Guns drawn. Richard's security forms a line. Get inside! Bullets shatter windows. Alia dives behind a pew. Evelyn screams. Richard drags her toward the back exit. There's a safe house in Jersey. We go now. They run. Through the kitchen, out into an alley. A van waits, Denise at the wheel. They pile in. Peel out as bullets ping the metal. On the highway, Alia clutches the booty. Her brother is out there. Stolen. Sold. Maybe lost forever. But she's not the girl in the cracked mirror anymore. She's the storm. And it's just beginning. Richard's phone rings. His security chief. Sir, the board just voted. Whitmore's out. Hospital's cooperating. But Lang, the administrator, he's gone. Took a jet to the Caymans. Alia meets Richard's eyes. Then we follow the money. She opens the laptop. The offshore accounts. The cryptocurrency wallets. She's taken coding classes at community college. Enough to trace. Hours later, in a motel off the turnpike, she finds it. A transaction. 500,000 sent yesterday to an account in Lisbon. Memo. For M, final placement. M, her brother. Richard watches her work. You're incredible. I'm angry, she says. There's a difference. Night deepens. They plan. The journalist wants an exclusive. The AG wants testimony. Parents want their kids back, but Alia wants her family. She falls asleep on the motel bed, booty in her fist. Dreams of a boy with her eyes running through a garden she's never seen. Across the ocean, in a villa in Lisbon, a young man named Mateo pours wine for a wealthy couple. He doesn't know his real name. Doesn't know he has a sister, But somewhere, a lullaby plays in his sleep. The same one Aliyah hums without knowing why, the rising action crests. Secrets spill like blood, enemies circle, and a family, shattered by greed, begins to pull itself from the ruins, one truth, one bullet, one heartbeat at a time. The private jet touches down at Lisbon's Humberto Delgado Airport just after dawn. The sky is a bruised purple, the kind that promises storms. Aliyah hasn't slept. She clutches the white booty in her coat pocket like a grenade. Richard sits across from her, face drawn, eyes fixed on the horizon. His security team, 6 operatives, all ex-special forces, checks weapons in the galley. No one speaks. They've tracked the money, the $500,000 wire, the memo for M's final placement. Mateo, her brother. The villa is in Cascais, 30 minutes west, perched on cliffs above the Atlantic. Satellite photos show high walls, guard dogs, a helipad. The couple who adopted him, Portuguese shipping magnates named Costa, have no idea the transaction is flagged by Interpol. Yet Richard's phone buzzes. The journalist, Tamika Reese from The Times. AG's office issued warrants. Whitmore's singing. Lang's in custody in Miami, but the Costas? Untouchable here. You need hard proof before you knock, Aliyah nods. We're not knocking. The SUVs, black unmarked, wait on the tarmac. They drive in silence, windows cracked, salt air whipping through. Aliyah's heart is a drum. She replays Evelyn's last words in the Harlem clinic. He had your eyes. Your cry. They said he was gone, but I heard him in the next room. Cascais gleams like a postcard. Whitewashed houses, red-tiled roofs, the ocean crashing below. The Costa Villa is a fortress of glass and stone. Gates swing open for a delivery van. Richard's lead operative, Jax, slips a tracker on it. They follow at a distance. Inside the van, catering for a garden party. The Costas are celebrating their son's 22nd birthday. Irony tastes like bile. They park in a public lot overlooking the cliffs. Jax hands Aliyah a tiny earpiece. Thermal shows 20 heat signatures. 8 staff, 4 guards. Mateo, tall dark hair, is on the terrace. Richard adjusts his tie. We go in as guests. I'm a potential investor. You're my assistant. Aliyah changes in the SUV. Black dress, hair pinned, the booty now in a velvet pouch around her neck. She looks in the mirror. Not the waitress, not the foster kid. A woman ready to reclaim what was stolen. They approach the gate. Richard's name opens doors even here. The guard waves them through after a call. Inside, the party is in full swing. String quartet, champagne fountains, children of Europe's elite laughing over caviar. The terrace overlooks the sea, waves smashing against rocks far below. And there he is. Mateo Costa, tall, broad shoulders. Skin a shade lighter than hers, but the eyes, storm gray like Richard's, shaped like hers. He stands by the balustrade, glass in hand, smiling at something a blonde girl says. But the smile doesn't reach his eyes. He looks lost. Aliyah's breath stops. It's like seeing herself in a different life. Richard's hand finds her elbow. Steady, they circulate. Richard charms a shipping exec. Aliyah sips sparkling water, eyes locked on Mateo. He excuses himself. Heads inside, toward the library. She follows. The library is oak-paneled. Floor-to-ceiling books, a fireplace crackling despite the mild weather. Mateo stands at the window, staring at the ocean. He doesn't turn when she enters. Beautiful view, she says. He glances over. Smiles politely. It's home. His English is perfect, faint accent. Do I know you? Aliyah steps closer. No, but you should. She pulls the booty from the pouch. Holds it out. This was yours. Mateo frowns. Takes it, turns it over. His fingers trace the stitching. For my brother. Love, E. His face changes, confusion, then something deeper. Where did you get this? From the nurse who held you the night you were born. September 12, 2003, St. Augustine's Hospital, New York. Mateo's glass slips from his hand. Shatters on the hardwood? That's my birthday. Aliyah's voice trembles. I'm your sister, Aliyah. They told our father I died. Told our mother you did. Sold us both. Mateo backs against the window. No, my parents are liars. She pulls out her phone. Shows him the spreadsheet, his name, the payment. Baby boy Hargrove, $75,000, delivered to Costa family via Stein Services. He scrolls, face draining of color. This can't... Footsteps in the hall. Richard enters, flanked by Jax. We're out of time. Mateo looks at Richard. Recognition flickers. You're the tech guy. Dad mentioned you. I'm your father, Richard says, voice breaking. Real one. The library door bursts open. Mr. Costa, 60, tanned, furious, storms in with 2 guards. What is this? Aaliyah steps forward. The truth. Costa's eyes dart to the booty in Mateo's hand. Mateo, go back to the party. But Mateo doesn't move. Is it true? Costa hesitates. Then, you were a gift. The agency said your mother didn't want you. Aaliyah laughs, sharp, broken. Our mother died saving us. And you paid for the privilege of lying to him. Costa signals. Guards advance. Jax and the team move in. A standoff. Richard raises his phone. Live streaming. To every major outlet. Interpol's watching. Costa pales. You can't... Sirens wail in the distance. Portuguese police. Tamika's doing. Her article dropped an hour ago. Billionaire's stolen twins. Found. International trafficking ring exposed. Guards lower weapons. Costa slumps into a chair. Mateo turns to Aaliyah. Tears in his eyes. All these years. I knew something was wrong. The dreams. A girl crying. A garden with roses. Aaliyah's knees buckle. Richard catches her. I dreamed it too. Mateo steps forward. Reaches out. Their fingers touch. Same length, same scars from childhood accidents they never shared. The library doors fly open again. Police flood in. Costa's arrested. Mrs. Costa arrives, screaming in Portuguese, then collapses when she sees the evidence. Mateo hugs Aaliyah. Tight, like he's afraid she'll vanish. I have a sister. And a father, Richard says, joining them. The 3 stand in the fireplace glow, fractured but whole, outside helicopters circle. News crews swarm the gates. The story explodes. Hargrove heirs reunited after 22 years. Hospital conspiracy unravels. But in the library, time stops. Aaliyah pulls back, looks at Mateo. We're free. He smiles, real this time. Now what? She glances at Richard. Now we burn it all down. They walk out together. Flash bulbs pop. Reporters shout questions. Aaliyah stops at the terrace edge, ocean wind whipping her hair. She holds up the booty. This belonged to a boy who was never lost. Just hidden. The crowd hushes. Today we bring them all home. Mateo stands beside her, Richard on the other. A family forged in fire. Below, waves crash against the cliffs, relentless, eternal. The climax breaks like dawn. Truth wins. Justice begins. And 2 twins, separated by oceans of lies, take their first step into a world that will never be the same. Chills ripple through the crowd as Aaliyah whispers to Mateo, Welcome home, brother. The camera pulls back, 3 figures against the sea. Unbreakable. 2 years later, the Hargrove Family Foundation occupies a sunlit loft in Dumbo. Brooklyn, exposed brick, floor-to-ceiling windows, the East River glittering below. The walls are covered not with art, but with photographs. Children reunited with birth families, foster teens accepting scholarships, mothers holding infants they were told had died. Over 900 recoveries and counting. Aaliyah stands at a whiteboard, marker in hand, mapping the next phase. International safe surrender laws modeled on New York's reformed system. She wears a simple blazer over jeans, hair in a neat twist. No more diner aprons. She's 24 now, but the fire in her eyes is older. Mateo bursts through the door, arms full of takeout bags. Lunch from the Jamaican spot. Jerk chicken for the win. His accent is a blend now, New York grit over Lisbon polish. He's grown into his height, shoulders broad from capoeira classes he teaches to at-risk kids on weekends. Richard follows, slower, leaning on a sleek carbon fiber cane. The grief lines have softened. Laughter comes easier. He sets a cake on the conference table, chocolate with white icing, happy second family day scrawled in blue. The staff, 20 strong, half-former foster youth, gathers. Denise, now director of nursing outreach, raises a plastic cup of sparkling cider. To the family that started with a booty and ended with a revolution. They toast. Laughter fills the room. Later, Aaliyah and Mateo walk the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset. The city hums below, yellow cabs, ferries, life in motion. She bumps his shoulder. "Remember the first time we did this? You cried the whole way across," he teases. "Thought the wind would blow you off." "I thought everything would blow me off," she says. "Turns out I'm harder to move," he nods. "Dad still checks on us every night. Texts, 'You home safe?' Like we're 16. That's love and billionaire speak. They stop at the midpoint, lean on the railing. Manhattan sparkles across the water. "I talked to Evelyn yesterday," Aaliyah says. "She's retiring to Florida. Wants us to visit," Mateo smiles. "The woman who saved us with a cookie jar key. We owe her a beach house." Richard joins them, wind ruffling his silver hair. No security today, just the three of them. He hands each a small box. Inside, matching pendants, rose gold, engraved with a tiny footprint. "From Elena's wedding ring," he says. Melted down. "So she's always with us," Aaliyah's eyes mist. She fastens hers around her neck. Mateo does the same. That night, they host a dinner at the penthouse, first time all three kitchens are in use. Aaliyah cooks gumbo from Elena's recipe, found in an old journal the hospital returned. Mateo grills steaks on the terrace. Richard sets the table with the good china, hands steady. They eat on the balcony, city lights twinkling like stars they can touch. Stories flow, foster horrors, villa isolation, the moment they locked eyes in Lisbon. Laughter and tears mix like wine and water. After dessert, Richard raises a glass. "To Elena, who fought for you both, and to the children we'll never let disappear." They clink. Later, Aaliyah video calls Tamika Reese. The journalist's face fills the screen, now a CNN anchor. The Sterling Act passed the Senate today, unanimous. Real-time national database for every hospital birth. Independent oversight, life sentences for trafficking. Aaliyah smiles. "We did that." "You did that," Tamika corrects. "I just held the mic. Whitmore died in prison 6 months ago. Heart attack, official story. Lang flipped, testified, got 20 years. The hospital paid out $400 million in settlements. The NICU wing is renamed the Elena Hargrove Center for Maternal Justice. Mateo started a soccer program in the Bronx, kids from group homes, scholarships for college. He coaches with the same patients Richard never had time for in boardrooms. Aaliyah's enrolled at Columbia Law, top of her class. Her first case, representing a mother whose newborn was lost in transit. She wins. The baby comes home. One quiet evening, Richard finds Aaliyah in the library, Elena's old journals spread out. She's tracing her mother's handwriting. "I used to hate her," Aaliyah says. "For dying. For leaving me." Richard sits beside her. "She didn't leave. She was taken." "Like you." Aaliyah closes the journal. "I'm naming the new scholarship after her. For black mothers in STEM, so no one else bleeds out waiting." He hugs her. No words needed. Mateo joins, carrying 3 mugs of hot chocolate. Family meeting. "Dad's teaching us to invest. Says we're trust fund adults now." They laugh. The sound echoes through the penthouse, warm, real, earned. Outside, snow starts to fall, soft, silent, covering the city in forgiveness. Aaliyah stands at the window, pendant catching the light. She thinks of the girl wiping tables in the rain, tip jar empty, heart heavier. That girl is gone. In her place, a woman who turned grief into gravity, pulling hundreds home. Richard and Mateo flank her. 3 silhouettes against the skyline. The wounds are scars now, faint, but telling the story. Healing isn't a miracle. It's a choice, made every day, with every reunion. Every law changed. Every child tucked in by the right arms. The resolution settles like snow, gentle, complete. They are home. In the shadows of towering wealth and sterile hospital halls, where lies once buried innocence beneath layers of greed and prejudice. One unwavering gaze across a rain-soaked room unearthed a truth that shattered empires and rebuilt families. Aaliyah's journey from forgotten foundling to fierce architect of justice reminds us, strength is forged in the fires of oppression, not granted by privilege. Hidden kindness, from a guilt-ridden nurse with a cookie jar key to a billionaire laying his empire at his daughter's feet, proves that redemption blooms when we choose truth over comfort. No child is disposable, no grief is eternal, and no system, no matter how entrenched, can withstand the unyielding light of dignity reclaimed. Evil thrives in silence, but love, delayed, discovered, defiant, echoes forever, pulling the lost home one heartbeat at a time. If this story of stolen heritage restored, systemic shadows banished, and unbreakable family bonds touched your soul, share it with someone still searching for their own hidden truth. Hit that subscribe button for more real-life tales where justice prevails, kindness transforms, and every voice, no matter how long silenced, finally roars. Together we ensure no more graves stay closed.